Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. So TheLazyPeon, big MMO YouTuber, made a video on Crowfall giving his first impressions from the launch. And being the Crowfall player that I am, and making all the YouTube content and streaming like I do, I thought it would be good for me to go ahead and react to this video, give my thoughts on what he says, maybe help people if they're only watching that video that TheLazyPeon made and hearing what he says, maybe hearing like somebody with experience in the game, counter argument for that might be. But keep in mind that I'm coming from this as a person who likes Crowfall, who loves Crowfall, who's played 1,000 hours of Crowfall. So as you're listening to this, as you're watching this, keep that in mind, right? I'm probably more biased than TheLazyPeon might be. So, but it might be good for you to get both sides of the argument if you're interested in playing Crowfall, and that TheLazyPeon video is the only one that you saw. So we're going to jump right into this. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, come over to the Twitch channel, leave a follow over there. I stream every single day, 6 p.m. Eastern.
And as of July 6th, has finally officially released. Crowfall has 12 different races, 11 classes, and a focus on crafting and fortress sieges. Crowfall describes itself as a throne war simulator where 3 factions are fighting to control the land and resources. In this game, you join a campaign which lasts a certain period of time. Eventually, one faction will win, the campaign will end, then you join a new one and...
Okay, first off, he read that off of some kind of press kit. It's not factions, it's guilds. There's more than 11 classes. There's every class has 3 subclasses, and every subclass has 3 domains. Anyways,
everything is reset.
Not everything resets. You get to keep things that you got inside of the world when it's over. While yes, the world resets, but you get to keep things. Let's get this out. You get to keep things that you got from participating in that world. So
after 6 years of development, Crowfall has finally fully released. Let's see if it's any good. 12 different races: the Centaur, the Elkin, the Fae, Gwenesian, Half-Elf, Half-Giant, High Elf, Human, Minotaur, Nathari.
This dude just say Minotaur, dude? Minotaur? What? I will also say, I'm going to try to be easy on this, because I know TheLazyPeon, he does these first impression videos, as in he like plays the game for like a few hours and then gives an impression. So I'm going to try to keep that in mind while I'm doing this.
Sounds like a bit of a frost mage. All right. Wood Elf Frostweaver. Bit of character.
Probably not the best class to start on. Just saying. Probably not the best class to start on.
Character customization. Only 3 presets for the face. Why does it say Crowfall developer build? Thought the game had fully released. And we're in the world. Talk to the rat creature.
Fucking Ace with the...
This is just going to be...
Come on, Ace. I didn't even know that was a thing. Come on, man. You're putting a game out and you put the... I didn't know that was in there. I never saw that. Wow. Okay.
This is probably the most populated I've ever seen Crowfall. Still though, not as populated as I'd expect for a game that's just released. Kill wolves. So now we leave this little starting area and we get ready to slaughter some wildlife. Pressing M, this is the world map. Still,
he's in the Aussie server.
Navigate just by glancing at it. Grey Shadow Wolf.
So the Aussie server has like 300 people on it.
The combat doesn't feel too bad on this class. We'll see if I get bored of it later on. Roast meat over the fire. Bit of cooking. Drag the meat here. Assemble.
Fucking delicious.
The game's definitely feeling a lot more polished than the last time I played it, that's for sure.
Oh, that's nice.
It wasn't too long that I played the game, maybe 8 months ago. I'm pretty sure they've sped up the gathering speed from the last time I played the game. I remember it taking a lot longer than before. The animations seem different too. We now have Minecraft speeds of gathering. Okay, that's it. Just get zerged by the entire camp. Let's pop my retaliate.
Dude, while you're watching this, I'm trying to get free views on YouTube, because it's easy clickbait. 100%. And I also want to know what he said, because I haven't watched this yet. Joe Zadaric, thank you for the follow. I haven't watched this. I want to know what he thinks, and I want to give my comments on what he comments on, because he's coming at it from a person with no hours. I'm coming at it with a person from 1,000 hours. I want to see how our views differ. And then also clickbait. When I started the game, I thought I was supposed to finish all those quests.
Ganked by mobs. Cut open that wildlife. There we go. Cut it open. Sorry, vegans.
Raise your hand if you died to those mobs, chat.
Open faster. Right, that was fun. Let's cut open.
I know some of you guys did.
So when you're cutting open things and gathering, you can aim at the weak spot to do it faster.
Dude, zoom out your camera, please.
Stone, wood.
It's giving me claustrophobia.
Ethereal dust. The last time I played this game, there was no mounts. You just had this like super fast running mode. Cool that they've added mounts to the game. I'm excited to experience a bit of Crowfall PvP.
I will say so far he's been pretty positive. Surprisingly, he's been decently positive.
Later on. The last time I played this game, there was no players. With it just launching, there's actual players to fight now. How many of them there are, I'm not too sure.
Just wait.
So what I'm doing here is sacrificing items and resources that I don't really want to gain XP. If you wanted to, you could just go out farming resources, chopping trees and stuff, and then just exchange that to XP by
You wouldn't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Sacrificing it at an altar.
God damn.
Wait, burning through these mobs. Pretty good XP. So now if I press O. Last time I played this game, I was complaining a lot about the world map because it's not very useful or functional. Doesn't display a lot of good information that would actually help you navigate. Yeah, it hasn't really changed a whole lot. It's still probably one of the most useless world maps I've ever seen in an MMO.
Okay, I don't know if it's useless, but I do agree the map isn't the best. I've always thought the map wasn't the best. It was even worse when it was like cockeyed and north wasn't north. Oh my god, that was awful. The map has gotten a lot better though.
Part of me wishes I took the level 25 boost, level 12.
I can't make fun of them because I do that shit all the time too.
PvP anyway. A few more hours and I'll be there. Then we can have some actual fun with the game. I just hope this boring intro sequence isn't going to put off new players trying the game, because you're going to have to go through about 3 or 4 hours of fairly severe boredom to actually have fun with the game. Level 14, you are quite impressive. Thank you, my...
That's why they gave you the level up tone, so you don't have to do this if you don't want to. Because this is, I mean, the new player experience. I do agree that I think it's too long and it can be very boring. But there are people that did it and enjoyed it, right? There are people that did it and enjoyed it, but they gave you a tome, so you didn't have to do it. So instead of complaining, "Oh, it's boring," why not use the tome?
Skinner, Quarryman, Miner, Logger, Gravedigger. I'm more of a logger. I like chopping trees in MMOs. I don't know why. Out of all of the gathering skills,
yeah, dude, me too. Logging sick, bro. Good decision.
It's just that fantasy of being a lumberjack. The long beard, living in a log cabin in the woods.
I mean, it's not like that, but you know,
it sounds kind of appealing.
It's not really like that. But
class Archmage. That sounds cool. Ranged damage. Yes. Promotion class.
Dude, this dude's gone through
Cooler.
This guy's gone through 2 shirts and 2 time periods.
This is the bank, is it? How do you make such a shit user interface? Holy fuck. How is that the bank? As a UI designer, who looks at this and says, yeah, that's a nice looking bank. Kill players. What's
wrong? Why don't you give suggestions? What's wrong with it? I mean, I know what's wrong with it. What do you think is wrong with it? I mean, like, I know what's wrong with it. I get it. But like, what's the suggestion?
Times 10.
You can't sort. You can sort by 4 things, and you can sort by value, and you can sort not easily. I'm not saying it's a good bank, but you can sort.
Level 28. Still haven't seen any other players whilst grinding. Let's try going deeper into the zone. It's going to be a bit of a disaster if I'm playing a PvP game with no players to PvP with.
You're on the Australian server!
Level 1 we've hit max. Okay, sacrifice all that. Few more objects. Few more. And there it is. Oh my god, another player on a PvP map. Wait, no, he's an NPC. He's an NPC.
You thought it was a fucking player, bro. Okay.
It's an NPC. I'm the only player on this map, aren't I? That's the truth of it. I think I need to just accept it at this point. Additionally, I haven't seen a single other player talk in faction chat, kingdom chat, zone chat, or even general chat. We come back tomorrow at peak time. Let's take a note of when these forts are capturable.
The next morning.
Oh, this one's fighting now. Okay, let's go to Fort of Kai Sunji. There's actually a battle going on, apparently.
I will say, it looks like he tried. I will give him that, man. He's gone through 3 different shirts, multiple different like times of days. I will give it. It does look like he tried, which is, I think, more than the last time he made a video.
If this happens when you die in PvP as well, you need to hold F for like 10 seconds or 15 seconds and then fly to a statue. Does this happen every time you die in PvP as well? Then you need to fly 1,000 meters to resurrect. I mean, if that was to happen in every death in PvP, I wouldn't want to play the game just on that alone. Everything's just so tedious, from opening the map to traversing the world to dying and flying to the rock you need to go to resurrect. There's a reason that even in a bit...
Okay. I will say, I'm trying to look at it from his point of view. Dying and flying, and it is annoying. I will say, res timers are annoying. Having to fly and go to a statue and resurrecting, it is annoying. But I will also say, how about you don't fucking die? Okay, anyways.
Bit of an MMO drought. Your game's just released and nobody's talking about it and nobody gives a shit. Because you haven't changed the UI. The world is absolute dog shit and nobody...
You're in Laborium, you fucking idiot. I'm sorry, dude. He's in Solorium, bro. You didn't even go to, like... The quest line literally tells you to go into Sky Point. It tells you. So you stopped doing the quest line that you were complaining about. Now you're in Solorium. You're saying the world's dead. You're not even in the part of the world where everybody would be. And you're on the fucking Australian server during a time when Dregs is up. So nobody's in here because everybody that's in Aussie is on the West server. Okay. All right, bro. I'm sorry.
Cares about the world. I can't think of a single reason to play this over Guild Wars 2. You've essentially taken 5 or 6 years to make a worse version of just Guild Wars 2's World vs. World mode. Okay, let's see if this person will kill me. Kill me. Come on then. Go on. So last time I died, my bloody weapon broke. I want to see if I turn into a bird. If I turn into...
Chat. The amount of pain I am feeling inside right now. I'm trying to be chill, chat. I really am. I'm trying to be chill. I'm trying really hard.
Fly to a statue every time you die to a player, then yeah, that's just a massive deal breaker, and it's looking as though that's the case.
Have you never played a game where death is punishing ever? Because okay, so what would you rather it be? If you died and you just were able to respawn right away? Or maybe, you know how in WoW you go to the graveyard and you have to run back to your character? It's the same fucking thing, dude. It's the same fucking thing. How is this any different than that? Except for you have to spawn in specific spots because the whole world is PvP, because there's a strategy game element to it. Because the whole point of fucking Crowfall is don't fucking die all the time. Oh,
so
God,
every
fuck.
single player death, hold F, turn to a bird, and fly to a statue. That's...
It's Crowfall, you dumbass, bro. Oh my God, bro. You're literally, your spirit is a fucking crow. Okay. I'm not even gonna do it, dude. I'm not even gonna explain it.
It's like 3 or 4 minutes by the time you can actually get back into combat. I'm an MMO PvP player. I play MMOs to do PvP sieges.
You play MMOs to do PvP? I would love to see you play PvP in any MMO. Any MMO, just... fuck, I'll do it blindfolded, dude. 1v1 me. Any MMO. Even one I've never played. One I've never fucking played. Blindfold me, PvP me. Please, for the love of God.
And stuff like that. I'm literally this game's core audience. And I cannot think of a single reason to play this game. There's no way I'm going to be able to show a siege or anything in Crowfall because, number one, there's not enough players. Nobody's playing the game. The game's dead.
I can't. Dude. Okay. Are you in a guild? You're in a guild. Have you tried to communicate with anybody in your guild? No. Have you tried to communicate with anybody in your faction? No. You just try to play the game basically completely by yourself without looking up or doing any type of information, any type of questioning, anything at all. You want the game to be like, here, this is what you're doing. Here, this is what you're doing. Here, this is what you're doing. Over and over and over and over and over again. It's a sandbox game, bro. That's not what this game is. It's not. I'm sorry. It's not what this game is. It's never what the game was supposed to be.
The UI is one of the worst UIs I've seen in MMORPGs. I've complained about it so many times. The map freezes every single time you open it. And in a PvP game where you're constantly
I'll give them that. The map sucks. I will give them that. And the UI is not the best. I do give them that. I do give them that. The chat sucks. The map sucks. The UI kind of sucks too. I don't hate everything about the UI, but I will give them that.
Glancing the map to see what objectives to go to, it feels unplayable. The combat is mediocre at best. The world in this game is...
You picked a Frostweaver. So saying the combat's mediocre at best. You played a Frostweaver, didn't even do any PvP. The one time you tried to do PvP, you didn't have the weapon that you needed to be able to do combat at all. Like, and you're on a fucking Frostweaver, one of the hardest classes to start off on, especially for people that are garbage at PvP games.
Design 5 classes well, then add classes when the game's successful. Any normal MMO player is going to log into the game, see this menu, and they're going to think, what the f? You got faction versus faction worlds coming soon. Oh, but the game's fully released. Why is it coming soon? Guild versus
I'll give him that. Faction versus faction should have been out on launch.
Guild. There's no explanation of what these modes are on the UI. Player world.
If you click on the fucking world, it tells you exactly what the world is. Click on a world.
Oh, what's this? Eternal Kingdom, and it's just a big empty bit of land that you can like put assets on.
Do you not see the words? Do you not see the fucking words on your screen?
The map loading times are longer than the loading times to enter dungeons.
Yeah, the map loading times are garbage. I'll give them that.
Or change zones in some MMOs. Fuck it, we're not going to have a pros and cons. We're just going to have this rant because I can't think of any pros.
Oof, let's go, baby. Oof, I'm ready. Speed round me, lazy. Let's go.
Can be the cons. Playing this has made me want to go play Guild Wars 2 World vs. World just so I can go get that PvP itch that I've been looking for the past few hours whilst playing this game. GG. I'm sorry for the negative video, guys, but sometimes it's negative because there's...
Bro, every video you make is fucking negative unless somebody pays you enough money to make it not negative, because you get more viewers if you're a negative YouTuber. It's the fucking formula, man. That's why every MMO YouTuber is negative about every MMO, because it's how you get views.
Just nothing really positive to say. Sorry if this video came across as overly negative. Going into this, I was genuinely excited to jump into the game and experience some epic large-scale sieges, but there's just too many fundamental issues with the game that even if there were players to siege with, I'd still be annoyed with other...
Okay. Okay. So he had some points. I agree with his UI critique. I agree with his map critique. That's it. He didn't put any effort, man, into even remotely trying to play the game at all. Didn't even try. At least from that video, he didn't try at all. Did he reach out to any guild? Did he try to experience any dregs? Did he just, you know, he did the exact same thing last time he made a video on Crowfall. He just played it for like 3 hours and shit all over it. And the problem that I have with this, and it's not against TheLazyPeon personally. Okay, this is nothing against TheLazyPeon personally. This is against the fact that people with that size of audience, if they say things like he just said, it makes so many people are just sheep, dude. They'll just hear that and then they'll be like, oh, okay, that's what the game is. I've said this a lot. Crowfall is a niche MMO that is trying to do a lot of things very different. Does it succeed at all of those things? No. Is it good at a lot of things? Yeah. Is it great? A couple things. There's a couple things about Crowfall that I would consider great. But it's just shitty journalism, man. It's just, if you're gonna make first impression videos about MMOs, how are you gonna spend 3 hours in an MMO, not even do what the game, in that very beginning of the video, you read the press piece of like, this is what the game is, and you never even did 90% of what was in that press piece because you didn't try to. Like, I'm not saying the game's perfect. I'm not saying it is, because it's not, right? And it's going to continue to, but I think it's going to continue to get better. And I think there's a lot of people that really do love the game, including myself. And I think if anybody out there is interested in learning about Crowfall, come to my YouTube, come to my Twitch, come to any fucking streamer on Crowfall, the category on Twitch, ask them questions. Go to the community Discord, go to my Discord, go to all the fucking, and just ask questions, man. and you'll get way more information and way more knowledge than what that fucking garbage video was. Like, it's like, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I agreed with all of his points that were real. I agreed with the UI point. I agreed with the map point. I get those. That sucks, right? I agree with that. Everything else was just lack of any type of trying to, like, you know, play the game, you know? So like my whole point was, if this big video from TheLazyPeon's coming out and it's just him shitting on it, I wanted to try to make a video of me reacting to that and giving other points of like why he's wrong. But I mean, I didn't do a good job at that because it just pissed me off more than anything else. So what's disappointing thing about Peon'S video is that he just never gave it a legit chance. Yeah. He didn't even go into dregs. Didn't even go into dregs. So he like experienced like 10-15% of the game. I tried to get into Crowfall after playing so much Shadowbane. I couldn't get into Crowfall, but New World seems more complete. And that's okay, dude. That's cool. The thing is you're not making a video to 300,000 people saying it's garbage. You gave it a shot. You're like, hey, it's not for me. Cool, man. Like, and nobody's gonna be, you know, mad at you for that. You know what I mean? That's perfectly okay. It's when you go out of your way to put energy into the world that is negative. That's when I have a problem with not even just this video, but just with things in general. When people go out of their way to be like, hey, I don't like that, so nobody else should like that. Fuck that. You know? I hate that type of energy, man. People like that are a drain on this planet. I'm gonna sound like a fucking shill right here, chat. So get your fucking shill flags up and like, Gilbo's a shill. Like, get that ready. It's a Kickstarter game that is developed by like 50 people, like 5 of which are like veterans of the MMO community. I mean, J-Todd fucking made like Wizards of Waverly Place or whatever the fuck that game was, and you know what I mean, like children's games and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like it started off as a Kickstarter, right? The Kickstarter was, hey, we have this idea. Can you help us make it? And as they were developing things worked, things didn't work, right? Things changed over time, right? Crowfall did not have a regular development process at all, right? Crowfall had a very unique development process compared to any other MMO on the market. And that development process helped it some with the fact that the players were able to really affect change in the game, which is a great thing about the way that Crowfall was developed. But I also think that the way Crowfall was developed with the openness and stuff like that hurt the game in a way too, because what it didn't allow was the devs to just make a game. They had to support a live game and make a game at the same time, because there's players playing it and saying, hey, we need all this fucking shit. And then the devs are like, hey, but we got to work on this. But the players are really fucking mad about this. You know what I mean? I think Crowfall is going to be great, man. I think it's going to be great. I think it just needs a little bit more time. I think now that the game's out, they got some more funding, right? Their fucking Shadows is coming out. They got a big update coming for us they talked about yesterday. I think it's going to be good, man. I think, you know. Dylan, now tell us what you like about the game. Crowfall's a very unique experience, man. While yes, it's a PvP game, right? It's a game focused on players fighting each other and strategy and guild conflict and drama and things like that. Really what the game is one giant social experiment. And that, for some reason, I find that extremely interesting. Like, as much as this game has made me feel like shit, it's also made me feel really good. And the community of the game, while sometimes is really shitty, can also be really awesome. And the cool thing about Crowfall is that it gives players the ability to make it what they want it to be. It's not a game that says you have to do this, this, and this. If you want to become, you know, a top guild in Conquest, then there's specific things you have to do, but you have to make that decision to be a top guild in Conquest. If you want to run the best market in Crowfall, you can do that. If you want to be a mercenary guild and get paid gold to go kill motherfuckers, you can do that. Like, and then there's all of this like outside of the game things that happen via streams and Discord and just like, you know, Reddit and drama, and there's just like all this other stuff that goes into this game that isn't even in the game that is also fun sometimes. Not all the time. Sometimes it's fucking is awful, but sometimes it's fun too. At a high level, that's what I love about Crowfall. If you want to get nitty gritty, I do really love the combat. I personally like the combat a good bit. I think it could be improved still, but I do enjoy it. I love the diversity in the way you can build your characters and your classes. It's not simple by any means. You can build your stuff in very different ways. You can make completely unique builds to do specific things that aren't good in any other way but the one way that you build it. And that's so cool, man. That adds so much diversity to the game, and it adds so much uniqueness to how players play it. And even though the crafting frustrates the shit out of me, I can see why the crafting would be is some people's favorite thing, because it does allow for like that, oh man, I just made a really cool fucking piece of gear and I'm gonna give it to everybody in my guild. And you know, and the progression systems, even though they are a fucking grind, and I think once the game is out for a little bit, the grind is going to slow down and things are going to kind of go back to like normal, where it's just all big vibe. Right now, I think the game is going through this, holy shit, the game came out, everybody's rushing, everybody's grinding so fucking hard, everybody's competing and sweating their dicks off, right? Once we get past that point and the game can just go back to the normal Crowfall that it was for basically the 900 hours that I played it, I think the game's going to be a lot more fun then too.